Ladies and gentlemen, you'll never guess who's with me again. Mr. Urban.
Your old friend for today and for the next 3 days.
My old friend. It's been a while. It's been 2 hours since I last saw you.
Yeah.
What do you make of the day so far?
It was kind of interesting and really exciting introduction in the event. It is not something that we are used to because when we have a live event, we just immediately jump in the content and keynotes and numbers and KPIs and everything, right? And this year it was like a really smooth cultural, gastronomical transition, and I really like it. I enjoy it. I mean, by myself.
Yeah. So do I. I really think it's good because it's all going live. Once you're live, it's action. If it's recorded, it's okay. But if it's live, it's action-packed, and I think this is.
Are you trying to scare me?
No, I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to tell you that anything can go wrong any minute. Any minute. Any minute. No, the connection is good. So, what are we hoping to see in the next hour?
So, in the next hour, I'll have 5 exciting guests, which are all very deeply involved in this year Podim event. They are like active stakeholders, so they are accelerators, investors, founders, which have each on their own, in their own way, contributed that event as today's can make it happen, right? So I'll not give up all, tell all the names because I think it's a really exciting part of it. So. Okay. I'm sure that the listeners should stick here and listen because it will be super exciting. Okay,
so fun-packed hour.
Yeah.
Very informative. How about we call Vienna?
Yes.
Let's do it. Daniel Kronin in Vienna, let's call him. I think we should include him in the talks. Mr. Daniel Kronin, hello.
That's very nice of you. Hello, that's very nice of you to include me. I hope you are doing super well. I'd love to be with you a lot, but I'm in Vienna this year due to obvious reasons, but it's very good to see you. Hope you're all doing well out there. How are you up, Orban?
It's really good. We've been live for 2 hours now, and I'm really enjoying it. We've had some guests talk about wine. We've been talking about wine mostly. No, no we haven't.
That sounds like a good thing to do on a Monday noonish, to be talking about wine for 2 hours. I seem to be missing a lot over there. Yeah, I'm liking that. I'm liking that approach. So we've been talking about wine.
Yes, and it's really a shame that you're not here because there's no way you can see all the bottles I have under my desk. No, I don't. I don't have any bottles. They didn't bring me any.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
You do know I'm half Irish. That's making my heart bleed that you're telling me of a lot of drink over there and I can't see it, smell it, or taste it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Too bad. You're too far. You're too far. I have Urban here, if you'd like to exchange some words.
Hey, my good friend. Nice to see you again.
Very good to see you, although in a little bit of an unusual setting. Still good to see you. Challenging times, but always good solutions. Very happy.
We usually share the backstage on the events, right? So so this kind of social distancing is kind of interesting, but we are super excited that you're also with us this year, and really looking forward for next few days.
So I'm
really happy that you're having me. I'm really happy also that we kind of trying this somewhat different setting. Challenging times, but it's quite good. The funny thing is, it's always hard to see if the speaker's actually wearing pants or not. But I actually am, and I can see you are, so that's a good start.
Start with you, right? Are you wearing a pants?
You know, it's like Schrodinger's cat.
Now tell me, you mentioned backstages. Yeah. What does the backstage look like for 2 keynote speakers, the likes of you?
I mean, the backstage for 2 of us with Daniel looks pretty similar than yours, right? Bottles all over the place and some notes and a lot of fun, right? A lot of fun.
I would imagine a party room.
Yeah. imagine the wildest part of the room you can imagine and multiply it by 100, and then you'll be slowly there.
Yeah, because people who are usually as collected on stage as you are and full of good information are usually the exact opposite in backstage. Pretty wild.
But it's really fun because so many years that we have done together and share the main stage and all the speakers and the fun moments and also the stressful moments. It's really like we are becoming a family. So Daniel, do you have any really a short moment to share, a glimpse?
I mean, the funny thing is always, backstage is always where excitement happens and where relaxation happens. So it's kind of always the two different parts. And usually backstage moments before going on stage is always all hell breaking loose. And for me as a host, usually the challenge is to channel the information I'm getting. And it's always nice in Maribor because it's a nice setting where we can kind of transition from backstage to on stage. It's usually also a part where you get to meet super exciting people in a very, let's call it, high energy environment. And then, of course, also the other challenge as an experienced host backstage is, as trivial and boring as it sounds, having food and drink, having water, some food, and some chance to sit down for a couple of minutes and to take some notes. And that's also the important part. So that's most of the magic backstage, is meeting people, having food, and having some drink, and then just doing some homework. And that's usually something I enjoy a lot. And interestingly, meeting friends, new friends, old friends, but always friends, and that's quite cool.
That does sound wonderful. And now it's time to bring out our first guest, to call him.
Yeah, so with us is Julien Coustaury from Rouge Capital. Julien, welcome to Podim. How are you? Again in the Bolivia?
Well,
I'm in the Salar de Uyuni in Bolivia at the moment.
All right, so the sun is shining, all good by yourself?
Everything okay in Bolivia, everything okay.
Very well. So you have been a Podim partner for quite some time. Tell me, what are your expectations for this year?
Well, we mostly come to Podim for deals, and the expectations are the same, and I think it looks pretty good. We've got our pipeline of meetings full. My two other partners are also fully booked, so everything looks pretty good on this side.
So you have, since the last year, you have a new fund. What kind of startups are you mainly looking for? And a little bit of statistics. I know that you are a fan of statistics. So share with us how many investments you made so far, approximately the ticket size, and what does the future looks like? What are you going to look for?
Okay, we are a 45 million fund. I mean, that is no big news. I think when we are at Podim last year, we were not that big. We raised a bit more money during the summer. You want stats? We've made 45 investments so far, and we are just about to deploy 10 million. So you make the calculation of the average ticket we are making, although this is a bit skewed. As you know, we invest from 10,000 euros up to 2 million euros across two main subsegments, one accelerator segment or compartment, and the other one a more traditional VC compartment. So
do you have any?
You wanted numbers. I gave you numbers.
You always give me what I want, and this is the commitment and the partnership which we super appreciate. So maybe in terms of the types of the startups you are investing in. So some of the VCs are more sector specific or type of businesses. So do you have any specific niches or verticals or type of businesses that you support, or are you really general?
I mean, I would say we call ourselves general. There are a few things we don't do because we are not allowed to do them, not because we dislike them, but we can't do crypto. we can do weapons, we can do CBD and THC, all the cannabis stuff we cannot do. That's due to the fact that we have certain type of investors in our fund. Other than that, I'd say we would do anything and everything provided we like the team. We said we're not super attracted by hardware, but that being said, we did a couple of hardware deal in the past in this fund. So it all really depends on the team, really. The things we like at the moment, we are pretty bullish about fintech. I mean, we see that there's still there are still a lot of disruptions to take place in this sector, and we think the digital revolution hasn't touched the sector the same way it has touched e-commerce, for example. So we are quite interested to look at all those. We love whatever has to do with analytics. A lot of companies, Hotjar, Intercom, a few others that are becoming real unicorns in this space. And this is a space we really like. The world is going online. It is just going to be accelerated by what happened. So we like this. We follow that quite closely these days. I'd say fintech and AI and analytics. These are the things we really like at the moment.
But this is interesting to see since, or interesting to hear since, fintech is in this disruptive phase for quite some time, right? And it's interesting that you see a lot of opportunities in this sector. Any specific reason for that?
I don't know. You ask me an opinion. I don't pretend I have the truth in me. I see a lot has been done in e-commerce marketplace. Plenty has been done on the sport sector. I just don't see one big. You just see Revolut and N26 disrupting completely the retail banking industry. But if you look at this very deeply, that's probably the only big disruption. There are many other things that could be done in the fintech sector, and I think that they are just happening now. I see this as taking place now, but some will argue otherwise. I'm just sharing my thoughts. I see plenty of interesting stuff in fintech and analytics these days. Hopefully, I'm right.
Hopefully you are right, so your LPs will get good returns. So you said that you have a big team. So you with the colleagues are spending hours in the deal room, meeting startups. What would be the, let's say, two most important things that convince you when meeting a startup, and what would be two things that it's a red flag from the first moment and it's a showstopper for you?
Okay, I heard the previous panel. It was quite interesting. The people were talking about the difference between Podim last year and Podim this year. I don't want to dwell too much on that because I think everybody's got an opinion and everything has been said already. But I think we pay a lot of attention to the team. Obviously, that's one of the downside of this year is that you don't have and Edo Kadic was on stage before, and he's pretty good at all that. We don't see the gesture. We don't see the emotional energy through a camera the same way we would in a meeting room. So back to your first question. This is the first thing we look at. The first thing I look at is how can I get on with a founder. I'd say that the human interaction is probably 95% of the success in the couple we are going to form with the company we invest in, and it's very important that we are partners. I know it's a word that has been abused and overused in the past, but that would be the first thing I'd be looking at is how can I get on with this guy in the good times and in the bad times. The big red flags, I always like humility. So if you come to me and play this fear of missing out, or the fact that a lot of VCs are after you to get an investment, it happened to me many times in the past. I just cut the call and say, listen, if you have so many interested VCs, no need to waste your time with me. So humility is probably a big, or lack thereof, a big red flag for me.
Shall we bring Daniel into the chat?
Sure.
He had something to ask. Hello.
Ich glaube, die wollten mich gerade wieder reinbringen.
Daniel,
yeah. Daniel?
Daniel, here online.
Aber ich höre nichts.
Like to ask? No?
So, Julien, maybe, last question for this introductory part. What are the expectations last year? You met quite a few, interesting startups, and you later included and onboarded in your accelerator programs. What are your KPIs for this year?
Well, to do better and more. So I think last year we onboarded, I believe 3 or 4 companies. 4, I think we met at Podim. We would like to be Podim the biggest provider of our accelerator intake. So we are currently scheduled for, I believe, something like 65 meetings in the deal room. So we're going to be screening 65 companies, which are a subset of the 180 you send us on your catalog, which we find phenomenal. So I guess that's the goal. Keep going, keep being better.
Okay. All right. So we have your word. Keeping fingers crossed that it will be better. We have done amazing. All that we could. So Julien, thanks for these introductory minutes, and see you in the deal room.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you very much. Very informative. And now it's time for the next guest.
Yeah.
Who's our next guest?
Should I tell you?
Tell me. I'd like to be kept in the loop.
The next guest is also one of our dear friends and Podim partners for quite some time. He's the director and CEO of ABC Accelerator. Really, pretty young accelerator, but also in terms of experiences and traction along old accelerators.
Okay.
So, Gregor, I'm really happy that you join us also this year with also interesting startups, and welcome to Podim DX.
Hello. Yeah, thank you for having me. It's true, we are on the market only for the last 5 years, but we do 3 accelerators for each season, for each year. So until now, we gathered quite a lot of experience. Of course, on the other hand, our corporate partners that help us and support us. And each year, Podim is super good for us. So thanks again for the invitation.
So tell me, Gregor, how many batches of startups are already behind you? You are with ABC since the beginning. So altogether, how many startups you've screened? How many startups you included in your programs? Do you have any approximate stats? As in previous talk, I like numbers, so make me happy with a few stats.
Yeah, no problem. Let's go to numbers. So each year we have 2 to 3 batches per year, depends on holidays. For each batch, we screen around 1,000 applicants and then accept between 8 and 15 startups. We are going this year even more into details of being hyper-personal and fully online. So this means that with our founders, the ones that are then at the end of the acceleration between 8 and 15, around 50% get the next round of investment during the days of demo day. And then in the next year or so, also the rest somehow progress. So statistically looking at it, we are having quite a good run so far. But of course, everything on the market is changing, and we had to change as well. So that's why this year, starting with after the Podim, We are going with the online accelerators. We are moving towards gathering the world knowledge and focusing only on traction, revenue, and next investments.
So as an accelerator manager, right? So how do you see these upcoming half of the year or rest of the year, right? So what you see as your your key challenges, and now I'm talking you as a head of Accelerator, and on what are the key also opportunities on the other side?
Yeah, of course, the challenges, as we all saw them, was being quick and really making quick decision and shifting towards the online and accepting the new reality. Of course, a lot of the knowledge, a lot of the mentorship happened in person. We had to quickly develop all new educational approach and how to work with founders. But on the other hand, let's be positive about this. Now everybody can be online like this. We can provide the world knowledge with the click of a button. Trips to Silicon Valley and other startup hubs were very costly and hard to plan in the past. Now we can have a mentor from Silicon Valley in less than 24 hours on our batch. So good opportunities with this period. And I think that for the founders who can really make it happen and go through all the obstacles and maneuver in these rough seas, these ones will really have a good opportunity for the future.
Very well. You spent a lot of time on events in previous years, visiting conferences all around the world, meeting startups. What is the most important element of attending, or reason why you are attending events and make active participation in events like Podim?
Yeah, great question. Clearly, of course, we are doing this for the pipeline, for the deal flow. And of course, when you have so many startups and so many great speakers in one place, then you can quickly, roughly profile the startups who you are looking for and see which lectures they are attending, with which investors they are talking, and then you can have a better aim. So we are looking for a very small percentage of startups who really can make it happen, who are aiming at having a global company worth in millions. And this means that we really have to look hard for the individuals that stand out. And being there either in person, either online, both ways, there are many different ways how to do this. And even now on the platform, I see some individuals who are coming out of the group and shining the spotlight onto them. So we'll take a look.
So last time when we chatted, you mentioned that actually this change and online conferences are, more comfortable for you, since you don't have to spend so much time commuting from one place to another. Do you like it, or are you missing, some of these, real feeling on being on live event?
I'm sure that this real feeling of live events will come behind us, and we will miss it for sure. But for now, this is great. We can attend many conferences, do all the follow-ups, do all the follow-on calls. So productivity in these first 2 months has risen a lot, but we'll see on the long run. At the end, we are still humans. And yeah, business is about connection to people. We need to see founders in person, and we need to feel the energy. So we'll try to find a sort of hybrid solution.
And again?
Yeah.
Daniel, let's see if Daniel has a question. Hello, Vienna.
Actually, I do have a question right now. Sorry for the bit of a hiccup early on. Grega, is there like one project where you look in hindsight and go like, man, that got away. That was like, kind of one that's still bugging you, which you looked at and were like, nah, not going to work. And you decided against it and it got away. What's the one?
there are many like this, because once you bet on a certain startup, you put it in some sort of your environment, and of course, founders make different pivots and different decisions. There are some companies that really made great pivots. We didn't anticipate them, and they got away. But there's always a next one, and there's always a next chance. So we constantly follow on also on the companies that we didn't get, and maybe we can join either in later rounds, either in business development approach. So we have quite a few tools how to jump in also in a later point of time.
That was a very diplomatical way of answering my question. So yes, if you got away, but you don't want to disclose a specific name?
Sorry, cannot do.
Okay, fair enough. But you have chances to get them at a later stage. Very nice of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Grega, this year, your demo day is taking place in the frame of the Podim. So what are your founders' expectations from this year? What are your expectations, and what are maybe the speakers, the talks that you are most looking forward to in next days?
Yeah, that's true. So this year we decided to have our legendary demo day at the legendary Podim conference. Why? The reason is that we saw that you have to put founders into the deep water as soon as possible, and this is a great opportunity. A lot of networking opportunities, a lot of investors, a lot of different topics, speakers, attendees. So it is a testing stone for all of them. We are expecting quite a lot of one-on-one conversations. Also, our deal room is almost completely booked. ABC has brought the full team with us, so there's quite a lot of opportunities also for our startups and for us to network. But on the other hand, we always are looking outside of our industry, and I'm really looking forward to talks about growth hacking, about corporate investments and acceleration, to see how the neighboring industries are coping with the challenges.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gregor Potokar. And now, Urban, I think it's time to bring out our next guest.
Yes.
Do you agree? His name is Gregor Rebolj.
Yes.
Where are we calling him?
We're calling him from Ljubljana.
Ljubljana. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Gregor.
Hello, hi. Yeah, correct. It's from Ljubljana.
How are things in Ljubljana?
Well, sunny at the moment, and looking outside, you feel that things are getting back to normal. So lots of people on the streets, restaurants are getting opened. So exciting to see everything getting slowly back to normal.
Very well. So last year on Podim, you introduced the new fund, so Silicon Garden Fund 2. So you also similar to your previous speakers, you are part of Podim in a really partnership way. So what is your opinion? What is your reason, how do you see Podim in this, regional and national ecosystem?
Well, for one, I see Podim as actually a great opportunity for startups to get acquainted with, of course, on one side investors, but on the other side also talk to other startups and or listen to other startups, what they have to say. The experience, maybe some mistakes that they did in the past, and they're willing to share them. So we see Podim as something as regionally putting together the whole community, where everybody just forgets about it's not about competing between each other. The market is big enough, but actually it's about helping each other. It's about sharing the knowledge, maybe sharing some connections and so on. So that's where I think Podim is really successful. So
Silicon Gardens is founders fund, so to call. So successful founders put together this fund. So what is the overall vibe and energy among your fellow founders and investors?
Well, yeah, as you mentioned, so we actually are a founders fund. So the successful exits or entrepreneurs that actually were managed to create a very successful company and have money to invest back, we joined together in the fund. But most importantly, what we actually always emphasize is it's not about money. It's actually about giving back. It's about wanting to help create others, because we're not really typically looking at the ROI. Of course, at the end of the day, you need to have a bottom line that's healthy, but still, I think the main drive behind Silicon Gardens Fund is helping see the products or the services that you want to see in the world thrive.
So you also, through the eyes of the other founders, you are looking for that excitement that you had when you started your own companies and building them from scratch. So do you miss this exciting and excitement and this adrenaline rush, or is it something that you're already passed on?
No, absolutely. I mean, that's something that's very crucial. So, as mentioned before, team is really important. Not just looking at the expertise and what they know, but also the passion. It's really important because it's not going to be just up and up and up. There's going to be gaps, and you will need to go through them, and just push through these boundaries to be successful. So we always look at the energy, how people are actually presenting their ideas, are passionate about their products, and what they want to change in the world.
Well, so you have at the moment you have one hat on your head, but actually you have many hats. So you are investor by yourself, you are a founder, also invest. So you lead the Silicon Gardens Fund, right? And you also an active partner in the Founders Academy that will follow later in the program today, with a few examples. So with a few of your companies that will share their experience, right? Tell us what is the feedback from your portfolio? What is happening in these last 2 months? Are there serious challenges, issues, or are there more success stories? So tell us a little bit, what is the feedback from the from the ground?
Yeah. So of course, things have changed. Some of the things have changed. People's needs, customers' needs have changed. But I have to say, I mean, luckily, or good thing is that a lot of the companies are, anyway, trying to bring something to the market, which is, looking maybe a little bit more towards the future. And what we see is that, this pandemic actually just, wiped 1 or 2 years of this growth, of this technology adoption, and we just jumped forward. So we've seen a couple of examples where the revenue have quadrupled. So these are the positive challenges, very positive challenges. On the other side, of course, there are cases where the teams really need to think about how do they get to their customers in a different way, or maybe even how can they change their products that's more fitting to today's landscape. And I'm happy to say that when we actually asked our portfolio companies, would you be willing to take time during these busy times and present some of your learnings at Podim, and they were very quick to say yes, absolutely, we're willing to help.
Yeah,
so you'll see, as you mentioned, you'll see some of them later on. Yeah.
I'm super looking forward for that talks later, and also yours. Maybe one additional question. So, in which phase is currently Silicon Gardens Fund 2? So, are you actively looking for investments, or are you holding a little bit right now? What is the status, and what companies are you looking for? So our dear startups will know, whether they can ping you and look for you in the deal room.
Absolutely. So regarding, these things haven't changed. So we actually haven't seen, that there would be less companies approaching us. Of course, some focus needed to be put on the existing portfolio to help them with the challenges, even with the, the growth challenges. But, when talking about the future investments, the deal flow is about the same. And we do have, our partners in the deal room. We also scheduled some for later because we got, a lot of requests for meetings, and the schedules with the talks and everything, it's a bit challenging to meet everybody. But that's not a problem, because basically we just need to touch base, see what they're about, and then reschedule for a later point where we can actually go, into a little bit of a deeper discussion. So as you also asked, at what stage we're looking at the company. So normally, we'd like to be the first money in. So that's the majority of our investments. Not necessarily a rule of thumb, or we also invest at the later stages. And this is how we also structure the fund. So basically it's 2 types of tickets. One is 50K, the other one is 200K, with additions to, if some of the partners are interested in the company, they can actually also join the round. So meaning that if you have something interesting that, maybe, some of the other partners in the fund are interested in, then they join the investment, co-invest. And we like that a lot, because then you basically have, lots more mentors that are pushing that startup forward. And the other thing that we like to do is actually, first touch base with somebody and, work with them for, 1 to 3 months to see how they react to, our suggestions, how we can actually work together, and then make a decision, whether we want to continue this journey forward together.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Gregor. We're out of time, and it's time for our next guest, Mr. Cristobal Alonso. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
Let's call Mr. Cristobal Alonso from Startup Wise Guys.
Hi, Cristobal.
Hi, Urban. Can you hear me?
How are you? Everything good on your side?
Yeah, everything great. I think people has been talking about energy. I think energy is high. The sun is shining. We're in Podim, so of course everything is good.
So last year you have a keynote on Podim, the Flying CEO. So how is the Flying CEO in last 2 months? So what are you up to? And
Well, the Flying CEO has obviously not been flying. It's been 9 weeks without flying. Actually, I'm taking my first flight on Wednesday to Tallinn. The airspace on the 3 Baltic countries are actually open among us since Monday. So going to take the opportunity to go and meet my partners. I think we have been using it like everybody else. First weeks to make sure that we keep running smoothly in the new environment, and like most of us with portfolios, to pass quickly the learning, the tips, the support to our companies out there. Then starting to understand what are the benefits of being in this environment. And I will say thirdly, to start looking at the future. There has been a lot of things that we will adapt and things that we will take forward. So to me, it's how do we define the future? I think the advantage we had was that even in the last 3 months, we have made about close to 20 investments. So from point of view of making of our level of activity, it has not diminished at all. And I have the privilege to run a large team of 25 people. So I think a lot of my job personally has been continuously assessing how is the current situation impacting individually each team member, right? Like first weeks, everybody's happy, a bit time at home, a bit more time for yourself, a bit more productivity. But then, have a lot of extroverts in the team suffering, and the impacts are different person by person.
So you are just a little bit, an overview for Startup Wise Guys. So you are spread in this, Baltics area. So approximately how many investments, how many portfolio companies are under your umbrella at the moment? What is the status of them in generally? So you touched a little bit on that point, but just to have an approximate feeling of the size and the scope of Startup Wise Guys in last year.
Yeah, as I have I know A, you like numbers, B, we're always fundraising, so we always need our numbers to be up to date, right? So we have invested in 186 companies. So I hope to reach 200 companies this summer. That will make us probably, together with Rockstar, the most active investor in Europe in the early stage. Last year, we did 81 investments in 59 companies. So we say 59 was first investments and about 22 were follow-ups in our own portfolio. I was 70% of the regional is 70% Baltics, Turkey, and Ukraine, and 30% is spread, but mostly Central Eastern Europe. That's kind of what we are. B2B SaaS, which can be almost anything, a lot of enterprise software, a lot of new technologies. Last year, we started investing in cybersecurity. We are running our second batch in cybersecurity, and we're about to run our fourth batch in fintech. So those are kind of, I would say, the three areas. More and more looking at sustainability, impact as key pillars, and starting this year, something that even make us even more interested in Podim, which we have already been part for the last 4 years, is that we are opening in Italy our new hub, and 50%, we forecast that 50% of the pipeline for the Italian fund will be coming from the Balkans. So hope to make no less than 15 to 20 investments in the Balkan region for the next 2 years.
So previously, very interesting. Thank you for these numbers. Numbers make me happy, so thank you for that. Maybe a little bit on your investment strategy. So Gregor from Silicon Garden said they want to be first in the company. What is your investment strategy? So when are you, when is the ideal stage when you, step in or invest in?
Yeah, I am not religious for when do we enter, right? I think what I'm very religious is where do we accelerate. So it's stupid enough to say we can invest when companies can be accelerated. So they usually have their first sale, usually in the local country. The product is ready to at least be put on the hands of customers so they can get feedback. And we are on the time in which we can accelerate and scale the sales and the founders. That sometimes is 3 months after launch. Sometimes is 15 months after the launch. I would say because of that, we usually are the first investor. For sure, the first international investor. Sometimes they come with local investors that have already been there. But I would say 80% of the times we're coming with a clean cap table, just the founders there. But I would say we love to be 1-2K MRR, but mostly because we have seen that those are the things that we can take to 6K, 8K, 10K MRR within 6 months, which is the stage we believe, and now even more than ever, they're investable for the first early seed round, which we are happy to join with other people. But last year we invested in a 20K company. We took it to 80K in less than 7 months. But there was something very specific the founders needed, and we could provide to them. And again, so the sweet spot is you're ready to go international, and you just don't say it, but you're really ready to it. And now it might be easier because you can do some things online, but it is a different level of commitment to your family, to your company, to your employees when you want to go international, really scale globally.
Shall we call Vienna?
Yes.
Perhaps Daniel has a question for Cristobal. Hello.
Thank you very much. First of all, Cristobal, good to see you again this year. Nice. By the way, you have a fun handle on Zoom, just saying El Patron. That's quite fitting. Now, we heard early on that Gregor said, yeah, it's very much about the teams as well. What's the thing for you look in teams when you meet them in the first 3 or 4 minutes?
Empathy, capacity to listen, which usually start by challenging them very quickly and see that they are not defendable, but they want to be coachable. So to me, we're looking at that coachability, that likability, and that chemistry. And the typical stupid question about, do I want to work with them? And I don't think it takes 4 minutes, but 20 to me to understand, can I help them? Can our team help them, right? So those are the things. One more thing that extra on the team that doesn't take 4 minutes, but we need to know, hopefully, before we invest, and that's something we've been working a lot, is do the founders complement each other and like each other? Or is this a CEO dictator with employees that happen to have equity, right? So do they have a vision together? Do they share values? But that doesn't take 4 minutes. But it is something that we have been working a lot in the past years about, before we invest, can we really crack that one a bit better? Because if that is there, even if the business is not there, they will pivot, they will do it. If that is not there, the thing will break apart when put under pressure.
Thank you.
Okay.
So maybe, last question, Cristobal. I see a lot of red color. I see that you like red color. So is also this one of the reasons that you like Podim so much?
Well, last year was a bit of a challenge because when I saw the background all in red and me completely in red, I realized that I should have white with a red tie, right? So I tried to adjust this way. I think Podim was, to me, a discovery. I didn't know anything about it until SC Ventures told me 3-4 years ago, if you want to be in the region, you need to come to Podim. That's where things are happening. I like what you're doing in terms of your drive and your vision. It's always been a place where I can meet people from 8-9 different nationalities, which is something that we love. So it's international within the region. So to me, it's the conference in the region that you have to attend. And of course, for you, it has been a struggle like everybody else, but because you also have the date coming up there. And I'm glad, even if we challenged you on that one, that you took the challenge to take it online and to make something different. So I think for you also, even if I'm sure you would like to go back to physical, this will teach you a lot and probably create new products, new revenues, new meaningful connections. And I think that's the interesting part. Right? So you took it as a challenge, but you're taking it as a learning opportunity. And I think we share values and vision in that sense. But yes, red is always an asset to be exploited, for sure.
Well, thanks, Cristobal, for again being our great partner this year. Looking forward also to meeting you in a deal room and in other parts of the program, Cristobal, also later this evening. Wish you a successful demo day, which will start in 15 minutes, I think, in the track 2. Yeah. So, investors who are looking for great founders, track 2 in demo days, and also check out the other 5 tracks. So, Cristobal, thank you, and see you later.
I just realized I'm not wearing.
See you later. Ciao.
Ciao.
This is terrible. I just realized I'm not wearing red. Do you want me to go change?
No, you don't have to go to change, but this will be minus 20% on your on your fee. Good. So
let's bring out our next guest.
So our next guest is part of the Tech Boost program, in the frame which also the demo day in the track 2 I just mentioned is happening. So Amra Omeragic, welcome to our studio. Amra, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks.
So tell us a little bit more about the Tech Boost program. We are eager to hear more about it.
Yes, thank you. So we are very proud to have 30 startups today who are pitching at the Tech Boost program. And actually today they are graduating from the 8-week pre-acceleration program that we have set up in partnership with Startup Wise Guys, but also in partnership with 4 other accelerators in the region. For example, the 4 partners are from Croatia, Poduzetnički centar of Krapinsko-Zagorske županije. From Kosovo, this is ICK. From Bosnia and Herzegovina, this is Foundation 787. And Civus, also accelerator from North Macedonia. So these 30 startups that you will be able to see today are coming from 5 countries. So Croatia, Bosnia, North Macedonia, Kosovo, but also Montenegro. And want to just give a little bit of a background about who we are and who is actually behind the program. So EFSA Entrepreneurship Academy is an initiative of European Fund for Southeast Europe, or EFSA. EFSA is an impact development fund operating in 16 countries of the region of Southeast Europe, but also Turkey and Eastern European neighborhood. The fund is providing access to finance to micro and small enterprises through financial intermediaries such as banks and microcredit organizations. And currently the fund stands about 950 million euros. And the aim of the fund and the aim of this program, as well as the Entrepreneurship Academy, is to strengthen the entrepreneurial ecosystem in the region where the fund operates. In particular, for this project, the goal is to empower tech impact startups in the Western Balkan region and to provide access to know-how, to provide access to investors, access to capital, and to strengthen their starting positions in the region as entrepreneurs. For this reason, we have teamed up with Startup Wise Guys, who is bringing this know-how, the expertise, and teaming up with local partners to create a program which we are supporting fully. So the program,
very well.
Yeah.
Just continue, please.
So the program provides regional and international exchange between the partners, but also provides best acceleration practices and coordination within the region. It also provides capacity building to our local partners. And we've put a lot of mentoring hours. So the startups during the 8 weeks, they had access to local mentors, but also international mentors through Startup Wise Guys. And they also had access to the online platform from Startup Wise Guys.
Super great, exciting, and great to have you on board and as a partner on this year conference. Just to have a little bit also, the feeling about the numbers. So you said 30 founders, 30 startups will pitch in the demo day. How many applications you approximately received on this exciting program?
Ooh, applications, I think there was, we had 38 accepted within the program. So it was about 8 to 10 startups per partner, per country. And when it comes to applications, I'm not sure at the moment, but it must be, I think around 70, 80, not sure. So for each country, it was up to 10 startups. Today we have 30, so obviously not all of them have graduated.
So what are the next steps in this program? So you said, the demo day, which will happen in a few moments, is an important part. It's an important milestone in their program. What is following? So this is like the graduation day. And what are the next steps?
Yes, we will keep supporting as EFSA Entrepreneurship Academy. We will keep supporting the startups, in particular in this region, but also in other regions as well. So what is happening? We will have a next batch, which is supposed to start in October, which will also go for 8 weeks. It will be coming from the same partners from the same region, and then we will have lessons learned. So we'll see what we learn, and then we'll see how we can replicate the program, hopefully in other regions, but also in our region going forward.
Yeah, let's call Daniel if he has a question. Hello, Vienna.
Indeed, I have. Thank you very much. Nice meeting you again. I have a very straightforward question. Did you say the size of the fund is 950 million? Did I get that right?
Exactly, but this is senior funding that we provide to banks and microcredit organizations so they can support micro and small enterprises in the region. So it's actually like loans, senior funding, not equity.
Thank you. Very well. You are also in the semifinals committee. What is your thing that you are looking for when you're, judging or evaluating the startup?
I think team is the number one factor that we take into account to evaluate. So if the team is good, I think that's something that we want to support going forward.
Okay, so this year, so you said that the next phase will follow. What about next year? So I'm sure that founders are already waiting for the next batch of your program. So can we expect a new program with similar partners also in next year or in the second half of this year? Share us a little bit about your plans.
Exactly. It will be the second batch we expect to start in October. This was the idea to start in fall. Originally, the idea was for the program to be, let's say, half online, half on-site. But due to the current situation, everything went online. So the completely 8-week program went online. It actually proved to be very good. So hopefully the next batch in fall will be online and offline, but we'll see what happens.
Amra, thank you. I wish you a really successful demo day and a good virtual celebration of graduation of your startups in your batch, and see you around in our virtual event. Thank you very much.
See you soon. Thank you.
And thank you from me. That was very good. How are you happy with the answers?
Very well. I'm happy. I got a little bit of the numbers, which I'm always looking for, and really, juicy, insider's tips, which is really great. I like, and also it's good that all the founders and investors have approximate feeling of who the startups will be in the demo day, in the demo days that will just start in a few minutes. And so I hope there will be a lot of investors in 6 tracks, and also a lot of interesting pitches, and this chemistry that all the founders have mentioned that they need to be in place in order investment or partnership to happen.